Testing, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. All right, it should be working. This is great. Do you know how many times it happens that you have a stream and people let you know that, hey, by the way, your microphone isn't working? Because that's good, right? Like, that's good. But, like, imagine if you're recording a video that's 1 hour long. Shut the fuck up, V. Where on earth is the... Alright, I found it. So, you record a 1 hour long video, like it has happened to me before. And all of a sudden, you finally finish, and you're like, oh my god, it was such hard work recording 1 hour, but it's a good video, right? And then you find out that your microphone was muted, and you're like, god fucking damn it. Because all of your reactions, like everything that you did, you now have to do it again. And sometimes the reactions that you have, like if you fake them, people notice. Let me just put this on my server. At everyone. More weak and stupid. Let's put it up. Badoom. There we go. Hopefully, I'll get the people that watch the premiere. Yeah, so I was saying, like, YouTube redirect is really annoying because it's not working properly. It would be so cool. I would just manage to get all the people watching This Week is Stupid up for the live stream. And unfortunately, I can't do that because there's still glitches in the YouTube redirect. Maybe one day. Hello, Advanzi. This is the first time I see you in my chat. Welcome to the channel. Hopefully, you're going to have some fun. General Free of Bots, another person that is the first time. A lot of first timers here. Welcome. I hope you're coming from the main channel. Yeah. So, we're going to go through some very interesting articles, which I have found, and I didn't cover in This Week is Stupid. Again, I don't want to make it more than 30 minutes. Number one, it would be very difficult for me to record. I mean, editing takes an entire day for a 30-minute video. But I don't think people would even watch it if it was like an hour or so. People watch live streams, but like they don't really watch video formats that are this long. So, Romanian squiggly letters incoming. I know people go like, oh, Romanian squiggly letters. I noticed this, like, it's so bizarre. So many of you ask me, it's like, hey, can you talk about more Romanian news? And the thing is, like, I got the algorithm, and I actually get to see where the engagement drops. And literally the moment that I show a Romanian article on the screen, everyone fucks off. So this is why I don't talk about Romania news. Even though I'm there to hold your hand and to translate and explain to you what's going on. Alright, so, Eurovision. I mean, people are shocked that it's corrupt. And it's so corrupt that now the judges from Romania are complaining. So the thing that I wonder is, like, why is it not getting sued? Because the way it works, you're supposed to vote by SMS. And when you send an SMS, it costs you $1, right? It's not a lot of money, but it would make for an interesting class action lawsuit. So the judges in Romania claim that people have voted for Moldavia, which is a Romanian neighboring country. We're very close to them. They're also next to the conflict. So it makes sense that Romanians would vote for Moldavia. But the organizers of Eurovision claim that there were irregularities with the voting. And because of that, they decided to, I believe they call it, apply the votes from similar countries. So all of a sudden, Ukraine got voted in. I mean, isn't that interesting, right? Like, isn't that fascinating? So, oh, fuck your votes. And again, like, people spend money to vote. Like, this is the thing. It's not just a competition where you know, you do it for free, like you log on the internet or something. No. Like, you spend a $1 SMS in order to vote. And the organizers of the competition were like, oh yeah, well, some voting. This never happened, by the way. Like, this is the first time in this competition's history. And they're like, oh, well, the Ukrainians have won. And by the way, I listened to the Ukrainian song. It's not that bad. Like, maybe it would have deserved to win without all these questions surrounding it. Hopefully, well, you know, Hopefully, social media would make it illegal. Well, illegal. Will make it against the terms of service to question Eurovision's integrity. Because then the judges would get in trouble as well. Like this entire article is a Romanian article. I will talk about it on my channel probably tomorrow. But it's a Romanian article from a left-wing publication. It's very pro-establishment, NPC 24, people call it here. And they are pointing out that the judges are livid. And at this point, I gotta ask, like, why even have judges? Like, what's the point? Just drop the charade, tell us who you think won, and that's it. There's no reason to pretend that there are judges and that there's an actual music competition. I mean, the entire concept that Eurovision is a music competition is ridiculous. Again, Hungary, they pulled out of the competition, and they also called it because it's a homosexual flotilla. I don't know much about that, but like, clearly it's not about music at this point. And there were articles saying like Ukraine must win, and I'm like, why does it must win a music competition? Right? Like if it's about sending weapons, anti-tank rifles, okay, fine. But this is a music competition. I mean, the people in the media didn't even know who's going to participate from Ukraine, but I guess like it didn't matter. You could have had a little kid singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and he would have won. Because it's just political at this point. I think that people at the military academy need to study Eurovision now. Like this is geostrategical, geopolitical important shit. So yeah, everyone was saying that it's rigged. I think like if they keep going, people are just going to stop watching it. I mean, go woke, go broke, but this is like exponential. The only reason people watch Eurovision is to see the music. Like, they're interested in the music competition and they hope that at least the best singer wins. But clearly that's not the case, at least according to the judges from Romania. So, yeah. Eurovision was always a popularity contest. I mean, yeah, it is a popularity contest, don't get me wrong, but like, they didn't rig the vote up till now. Okay, like they didn't try their best in order to get the correct result out. And this is why it's disturbing. Like, why are you trying to get the quote-unquote correct result? And by the way, it's quite possible Ukraine would have won regardless. Like, I just want to point out, like, they could have won. Like, there's a lot of nations that would have voted for Ukraine. But the way they did it, the way they went around it, is just sickening. And it's not sickening because it's a music. It's like sickening because it's systemic, right? It's like almost at every single level, you get to feel this. Like all the corporations, all the Hollywood actors, everyone has the correct answer. Everyone thinks the same. Everyone says the same thing. And it's so bizarre, right? Because like when you go into a room with 100 people, you're not going to get everyone thinking the same. Unless it's Hollywood. But if it's Hollywood, right, like everyone literally has the same opinion and the same issue and the same stance on every single political thing. They should refund the people that voted. No, the people that voted should sue. But obviously, like, the people who voted don't really care about it that much, so. But anyway, right, let's talk about some Russian shenanigans. This is probably something that I should make a video about because it's kind of interesting. And I just want to say I'm not dissing on religious institutions here, but, like, every now and then, like, even other Christians are dissing on this. So don't think that, oh my god, V the atheist is dabbing on religion. Like, normally I don't do this, but every now and then, you get to see something like this, and it's like, wow, holy shit. So, the church in Orthodoxy, right, so not Catholic, I don't know if Catholics do this, but like, Orthodox priests, they offer a way of making money. It's kind of like, membership to my channel or super chats, but like, they sanctify stuff. So they bless stuff, right? And they can bless everything. They can bless a house. They can bless a car. And more often than not, they can even bless weapons, right? So there are pictures on the internet and people are laughing with the priest that's blessing weapons. Like, normally, it wouldn't make sense because, Christianity has the PR of being the peaceful religion. But anyone who knows medieval history, like, they would know that priests actually did sanctify weapons. Soldiers back in the day were very religious, so, yeah, okay, that's not shocking, right? Now, you would say that it's a little bit shocking because they're sanctifying a nuke. I mean, I guess the nuke already does radiant damage, but like now it's going to do holy damage as well. Like this is a great weapon against the undead. But what really makes it, completely ironic, what really makes it out of the ordinary is that this particular missile is called the Satan nuclear missile, right? So it's called the Satan, and it's called like that because it has the most destructive capability out of all the nukes. So it's got like the capability of wiping out, I think it's like an entire state. Like it's super big. If I'm not mistaken, like it can spread it to several smaller nukes and they drop. So yeah, so like the priest sanctifying the Satan missile, that's something that I didn't expect to see. It makes sense though. Like don't get me wrong. Like from how should I say? How should I put it? From a ritualistic point of view, there we go. See, I managed to say it. From a ritualistic point of view, it does make sense. And thank you, Zedif, for being a member for 3 months. Wow, that's a long time. And I appreciate the membership. And it does 50 spiritual damage, yeah. Alright, with the Ash of War nuclear fallout. Well, like, I guess, like, it is so weird, right? Because, like, why do you bless? Like, the thing with blessing stuff, it was to give protection to the soldier. Like, you bless his sword, right? You bless his sword because he carries the sword around with him, and he is going to carry the blessing as well. But, like, with the nuke, I think it's fire and forget. Like it doesn't carry the driver that launches it. Like, I don't understand how exactly it's supposed to work, but that's clearly the earliest iteration of the Mechanicus. I'm going to steal that. Because I want to make it a video on my main channel. Like, it's so fucking hilarious. But yes, it is the early iteration of the Mechanicus, the Warhammer 40k tech support. I don't know if the Catholics still do it, right? Because I don't think, like, the Pope blesses weapons. I mean, technically he could. I think that there are specific prayers for blessing armaments and weapons. Like, in Orthodoxy there are. So, like, when you bless food, there is a prayer. When you bless weapons, there's probably another. When you bless, like, horses, I think, like, blessing a car probably has, like, the same prayer for blessing horses. But, yeah, it does look very bizarre, doesn't it? And adding the nuke chan next to it, it makes it even... What the fuck are you doing? Yeah, I know that Catholics do bless weapons, but I don't think, like, the current Pope would. Unless it would be, like, a conflict with Russia, maybe he would. I don't know. I guess it's also due to the fact that the Russians are more pious. Like, the percentage of Russians that are religious is a lot higher than, let's say, the percentage of Italians, right? So, being, like, more oriented towards mysticism, let's put it like this, would make sense. I think, like, in the West, it would it would make more sense, like, if you have, like, a diversity officer, giving the get-go. It's like, oh, yes, well, this weapon was manufactured by diverse people from different walks of life. Like, this nuke was manufactured by a diverse group of people with various faiths and from different walks of life. Like, that would probably be what would be in the West, right? Anyway, right, speaking of religion, listen to this article. Nun faces lawsuit for refusing to allow trans women to join Catholic nunnery. Mother Superior stating that men cannot become nuns. Well, the reason I love about this is, like, talking snakes and all that shit is fine, but we draw a line at men choosing to become women. Man, that's an article I didn't expect to see. But, like, what I love is that she is sued. Now, here's what I don't get, right? Like, why would you as a trans person want to become a nun? Like, that the entire set of beliefs, like, you become a nun because, like, you worship God, right? And you believe in the Bible and Christianity. But, like, that set of beliefs doesn't agree with your lifestyle and life choices. So, like, Why would you do that unless it was to sue? Like, I am willing to bet that this person who wanted to become a nun, like, they knew that they're going to be refused, so they wanted to sue, which would be incredibly funny if they were allowed. You know, like, if they were allowed to become a nun, and they would be like, oh, shit, oh, fuck, like, I didn't really want to. Like, I just wanted to sue. It's kind of like the bake the cake bigot, right? Like, bake the cake, like, there were a couple of lawsuits like that. They all lost, but, like, they only targeted Christian bakeries? Like, they never went to a Muslim bakery. For the uniform? I see, Yorkie one. That would be interesting. Dog would be a nun? Dude, like, do you know how difficult life as a nun is? Like, first of all, you isolate yourself from the rest of society. So, no more commodities. You now have a life dedicated to prayer, and there's a lot of chores that you need to do the old-fashioned way. Like, you don't have a microwave anymore. You got to do it properly. No men, right? So not a lot of people can tolerate that lifestyle. I mean, back in the medieval time, being a nun was probably a lot better. Simply because, like, you get away from the peasant lifestyle. Now, obviously, a lot of people didn't want to do it because, well, you would not be able to have a spouse. But on top of that, like, being surrounded by other women that never get to have sex ever. Yikes. I mean, I appreciate the people that have the power to do it. What can I say? But I personally would not recommend. Yeah, nuns are nicked. Nuns going their own way. It is a calling, I guess. Like, some people have it. But it is very difficult, and I just don't know the type of person that would want to make that difficult step. I don't know how else to put it, but it is definitely a difficult step. I know, like, monks, they get a lot of buggery going on. You know, like, they're not allowed to have women, and because of that, there were some Romanian writers that actually did seclude themselves at the monastery, not because they wanted to be monks, but because they wanted to have some alone time in order to write. And they talk about the buggery. They say that the monks love themselves too much. They love themselves more than they should. You know, like, they give a couple of hints of what was going on. Can nuns use Twitter? I guess it depends on the monastery. Like, in some monasteries, they might have access to some technology. But usually you go to a monastery in order to seclude yourself from modern life. So, no, they probably wouldn't have access to social media. There might be, like, one computer, but I don't know. I mean, look, we live in a time where the Amish have access to electricity and they use computers. Obviously, like, the New Order does that, the Old Order doesn't, but I wouldn't be surprised, you know? Like, they do try to seclude themselves from society, but at the same time, they might allow for cell phones and stuff. And if you have a cell phone, then obviously you can have Twitter and whatnot. I wonder, like, if Mother Superior checks their computers and cell phones, if they do have them. The priests, yeah, like, the priests are definitely allowed. Look, the priest, first of all, like, the priest doesn't have to stay in a monastery. Like, the priest can have his own house. In Orthodoxy, the priest can marry, so the priest actually has a wife, and together they have a church. But we're talking about the monks, right? So the monks, the nuns, they have a different type of regimen and a different type of lifestyle. The internet itself is probably not a sin. I mean, I have never heard anyone describe it as such, unless it's like a different, I guess, religion, a different denomination. But yeah. Thought it was funny. A priest was a fellow hacker. I don't see why not. Like, I don't see why a priest wouldn't be a hacker. Because at the end of the day, like, if you're not stealing, it's not a sin. Right? Breaking and entering, believe it or not, is not considered a sin in the Bible. So, I don't know. But anyway, right, let's move forward because there's a lot of other news that I want to cover. This, for example. So apparently there's a shortage of milk powder in the United States, like baby formula. I don't fucking know why that is. Maybe there's like a lot of shortages, but like people can live without those. However, baby powder, because it's milk formula, baby formula, because it's so required, like people notice it. I mean, like, if it's a shortage of Snicker bars, like, no one is going to care, right? Like, who gives a fuck? Snicker bars, alright. But if there's a shortage of baby formula, then a lot of people are going to complain. So, some stores, as you can see here, are saying that due to supply issues on baby formula, there is a limit of 4 items per trip. We apologize for the inconvenience. However, if you're on welfare, you may take as many as you want. So, you know, like people are saying, alright, well, if you are well off, you're a second-class citizen, like if you're not part of the welfare class. To me, this is ridiculous for several reasons. Number one, I guess like the people thinking about this are like, well, if you're on welfare, you probably can't afford that many, right? So like if you're on welfare, you can't buy like 50 bottles, right? But if you're a person that's well off, I mean, you can just go there and you can hoard, like you can buy 100. Now, the problem with this is that the people on welfare, okay, they're not mentally challenged. Like, I know that the leftists like to think that, but no, like, just because they're on welfare doesn't mean they're dumb. And what every human being wants to do is to make money, right? So, there have been reports of people on welfare buying as many as they can and then selling them off for more expensive price, right? Like, they can gouge. You know, they keep talking about the stores that gouge. I don't think the stores necessarily gouge. I mean, the stores operate on supply and demand. And at the end of the day, like, the stores aren't going to get rich if they make the baby formula cost twice as much. Like $18 rather than $9. However, an individual person that's on welfare, yeah, like, he can make a lot of money. He can buy 10 of them and then sell them off for double the price. And he's going to make more money. So yeah, that would actually happen if you allow this. Like, if you create this artificial shortage by making people only limit to 4 items, and then people who are on welfare, they can buy, let's say, as many as they want, then they're going to flip them, and once they flip them, they can buy more. So now you created a shortage, you dumbasses. But, like, whatever. Another thing is that we notice shortages everywhere, and all the world governments are blaming the consumer. They're like, oh, well, people are gouging. It's like, yeah, no shit. People are going to gouge. Like, if there's 20%, like, look here, right? Clearly, there are still baby formulas on the shelves. But if people go and they keep seeing these empty shelves, right? Well, let's say there's like 25% of them missing. That signals to average people that it's a problem, and they're going to start buying more. Because they're going to think like, okay, but what if I come next day and there's none, right? So they start buying more. Now, the problem is the 25% that are missing. You're not going to stop people from gouging, like, especially when it's up to their children. People don't give a shit about other people's children, right? Like, if you have a kid that's crying at home, like, all solidarity is gone, you know? Like, all the identity politics, all that is out the window. You have a crying kid at home. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to care about their kid more than anything else, so they're going to start hoarding. I mean, it's such a dumb concept. Fuck me, like, blaming the consumer, yes. Clearly, the consumer is to blame. Is it true that Abrahamic religions is polygamous, and only because of the Romans do they become monogamous and prudish? I don't know if the Romans, but if you read the Old Testament, there's a lot of people that could have multiple wives. I may be wrong, but I think Abraham had like 2 wives. So yeah, like, Abrahamic religion was polygamous, but I don't know if it's the Romans. However, with Christianity, I'm pretty sure people were monogamous at the time. So I would have to ask a priest, though. Businesses should raise prices when supplies are low. They already do that. Like, okay, the problem isn't the price, all right? The problem is that there's not enough to go around. That is the problem. The price is an obfuscation. Like, people do not see the legs because of the ass cheeks, all right? Like, the ass cheeks are just a continuation of the legs. It's pretty much what's happening here. The problem isn't the price. The problem isn't like people. The problem is that there's not enough. Like, there used to be enough and now there isn't. You can ration and make so that every person takes one. You can increase the price so that only the people who desperately need it buy it. Like, that's what increasing prices do. But like, if let's say you would make it so that every single person has the money to buy 4, you would make the problem worse. Because there's not enough to go around. That's the problem. Everything else is an obfuscation. I don't know if it's artificial scarcity. I don't even know why there's a scarcity for this, to be honest. Like, it's such a bizarre thing. I understand why there's scarcity for oil. I understand why there's scarcity for grain. I don't know why there's a scarcity for baby milk. I don't know. I don't even think this is a depopulation thing. Dude, like, do you want to know how depopulation could be done? Cut off the welfare. That's it. Like, you cut off the welfare, and you're going to see, like, massive numbers of people going over. You know, like, the concept that you want to, like, you know, that there's the elites that want to depopulate or whatever, and they still give welfare, it makes absolutely no sense. Especially, like, if you cut foreign aid to Africa. Holy shit. Contamination at biggest producer. Oh, I see. Lack of transports. Yeah, but, like, lack of transports doesn't explain it. Because you just have, like, a lack of supplies all over. Not just baby milk. Contamination at producer. Yeah, that would make sense. I don't know if it's true or not. But, like, at least that would be more sensible than what we're seeing here. Yeah, we're live. Michael Guevara, welcome. Feel free to super chat. I would appreciate it. Man, I'm probably the only streamer that's asking, huh? Like, most people don't ask. But if you don't ask, you don't get. So, what can I do? Man, like, I do have a problem with streaming. I will tell you this. Ever since I have shield for VTubers, like, I used to have around 500 people watching my live streams, right? And then I started shilling for VTubers, and do you know what happened? Like, people were like, oh my god, V, I thank you so much. Like, these VTubers are amazing. And now they're watching the VTubers, and they're not watching my channel anymore. I can barely get more than 100 people watching during the week. It's because, like, I literally gave my subs to VTubers. Which is fine, by the way. Like, I don't mind it. Like, look. As long as people are entertained, and your life is better than it used to be because of my content or the people that I tell you to watch, I'm fine. I'm happy with it. The unbased people left. Well, look, I also made it. Here's another thing, right? Like, I don't want to grow. I know this sounds really stupid and dumb, but I literally don't want to grow because when you grow, especially nowadays before an election and whatnot, you risk getting banned. Like, you risk upsetting the wrong people and whatever. I mean, Memology recently got himself into trouble because Donald Trump retweeted one of his videos. So, he's now going to probably have articles written about him and shit. So, I just don't want to grow. And because of that, I didn't work on my thumbnails. I didn't keep my streams up. Like, I deleted a lot of the streams I did. And more importantly, I don't stream at a regular schedule. So all of these put together, plus me shilling VTubers and all of that, yeah, I can see why I'm not making as many I'm not getting as many numbers as I used to. Thanks for moving This Week is Stupid forward in time. Couldn't make it that late usually. Well, you know what, Gewers? If that's the thing, I'll try to make it the same tomorrow. I didn't plan to make it at 8. But it usually, like, depends how fast I finish it. Like, sometimes I work on it and I finish it right away. Other times it takes more because of the editing. It depends. You risk getting banned. You risk that anyway. Well, yeah, you risk that anyway, but like the bigger you are, the bigger the risk. So it is what it is. But yeah, you are watching a VTuber. That's true. Mimology is a person of color. How the fuck do they know, dude? Do you think like the moderator behind the screen knows that Mimology is a person of color or not? And if do you not think there were people of color that got canceled in the past? I mean, Diamond and Silk, probably like the first individuals that I heard about getting canceled. I do have 275 people watching. Yes, it's true. It's This Week is Stupid. Like, This Week is Stupid is actually really good to me. But look, if you want to subscribe and know when I'm streaming, go to my server, and you're going to get announcements every time I stream. Anyway, let's look at something else. Like, this is probably going to be tomorrow's video. It's one of the dumbest things that I have seen. I don't even know who thought that this is a good idea. It is probably the most evil, late-stage capitalism bullshit that you're going to ever lay your eyes upon. I mean, a motorcycle airbag vest, which stops working if you miss a payment. This is just... What the fuck? What the fuck? So, you load nothing and be happy, take it to the next level. So, I get like... Okay, first of all, I really hate... products that require an online connection that doesn't make sense. So, for example, Wi-Fi grills. Like, why the fuck do you need a Wi-Fi grill? I just don't get it. There's no explanation. Now, what happened with the Wi-Fi grill is that people went to barbecue during Thanksgiving, and also during Thanksgiving there was a patch. It's almost like they did it out of malice. And the problem is, like, when you go into the middle of the woods with a small Wi-Fi... Sorry, in the middle of the woods and you don't have a Wi-Fi connection, well, you can't really update the patch. And if you couldn't update the patch, like, the grill wouldn't grill. Alright? Just so you can understand. Now, there have been other people that have smart houses. So we're talking about smart fridge, smart electricity, like the door doesn't open, everything is smart. And Google went down for 2 hours and those people realized, oh shit, I can't enter my house. I can't turn on the heating. I can't do anything, right? So, like, the least amount of things you have connected to the internet, the better. Like, only the things that are necessary, like a computer or a TV or something like that, should be connected. But other than that, like, I'm all against it. So, you got this vest, which apparently you can either pay $400 for it, or you can pay $200, and then you have this app which requires you to log in, and you need to make like a monthly $2 purchase. But like, if you forget, I mean, imagine this, right? Like, imagine it's not even that you want to skim on it, but like, you just forget to put that $2, or maybe like your credit card at the beginning of the payment month is out of money. You can have this vest thinking it will keep you safe, and you can die. I mean, this is just... Alright, so apparently, like, it's got this technology inside it which detects based on movement patterns and, vibrations, like whether you're in a car crash, and then it just inflates so that you don't take damage. Whatever, I'm just like... I would not buy this. I would not buy... Like, what if it glitches? I'm pretty sure, like, there are other things that are better. I do like the concept, though, right? Because, like, on one hand, you can just use the puffed-up vest, like the puffed-up airbag, but it's obviously too cumbersome and it would make you look ridiculous. But, like, this is actually better, right? Because if you fall, then it pumps up, so you're not going to take that much damage from the friction. Still. Safety as a subscription, yes. So what is an airbag vest? I mean, it's self-explanatory, right? Like, it's for people riding a motorcycle. Like, if you fall off the motorcycle, like, let's say you bump into a car or something and it throws you off of the bike. Well, you got the helmet to protect you. And you also have now this airbag vest, which detects the collision. And it puffs up. So you're still going to get hurt, but obviously it's going to stop a lot of the pain and the initial impact. So it's a good thing. Like, it actually works. Now, obviously, it's not going to save your ass if you're driving with 200 miles per hour. I mean, honestly, I don't really get motorcyclists. It also depends on the country you're in. I mean, in Romania, if you're driving with a motorcycle and you're over the speed limit, like you're just writing your death certificate. Like, it's even if you don't bump into anything and nothing bumps into you, there's still holes on the ground. Like, this is a hallmark of Romanian highways. Like, you get small ditches and holes on the ground, and the faster you drive, the more likely you are to experience displeasure. By the way, I don't understand why the fuck, like, some things go viral. I wish I knew, but sometimes I put a lot of effort into a post, right? So sometimes I spend a lot of time and I'm like, okay, well, this looks like a really great post. This is some really interesting thing and it's going to get people interested. And it doesn't get a single retweet. Other times I do a shit post and look at this. 200,000 likes. 34,000 retweets. I got a message. Chat, listen. You won't believe this. I didn't even know it's possible. I got a message from, let me see what their name is. Owl Projector. So Owl Projector sent me a message. Hi, could we pay for a promotion under your viral tweet? I didn't even know people do this. I didn't know people pay for promotions under viral tweets. Like, it's so bizarre. It is so freaking bizarre. But like, yeah, so it's a tweet so viral. That's literally just a shit post. It took me less than 2 seconds to do it. And it's like 200,000 likes. That is insane on Twitter, okay? Like, let me see if Elon Musk has tweets that are this popular. Oh yeah, okay. He got like 400,000. Yeah, but like the one where he got 400,000 is the one where he tells people how to get rid of the Twitter algorithm. But like that's an exception, right? Like, normally he doesn't even have that high. Advertising in the reply. Do you know how much they wanted to give me? $25. I told them like I would do it for free, but then I looked at the product that they were giving and I was like, no. Like, that's another thing, you know, like, I don't do sponsorships because I want to like the product. Like, for example, I would probably sponsor the Quartering's coffee, right? Because it's coffee, it's not a problem. But if you were to ask me to sponsor, like, your currency, like, you got some esoteric bit currency and shit, like, I'm not sponsoring that. I mean, imagine, like, having people who actually like you, people who actually, you know, pay for you to be able to have a house, and you would give them a currency that would get them bankrupt. Like, that would be the ultimate evil. I don't even know whether or not, like, some, and no one does, right? Like, no one knows, like, whether a currency is good or not, right? Like, a lot of people will give you mucho texto saying, oh yeah, it's the best shit ever, you should get into it. But like, you know, if your diamond hands end up losing you everything, that person isn't going to be there to help you out. Lapko, they truly care about their customers. If you don't pay, you're not a customer, screw off and splat. Yeah, but like, the business model, the optics, you know, like, I get capitalism, I understand, but like, maybe don't offer a subscription model for something like that. I'm just saying. Or maybe like put people the old-fashioned way to keep paying for it on a monthly fee, and if they can't make the monthly fee, you take away the item. Like, when it comes to safety, no one is going... Like, imagine a car. No, seriously. Imagine a fucking car that has a subscription model for the handbrakes. Like, who does that? V, screw the monthly tax. The big point here, you have something that can be turned off remotely. What if someone hacks into their system? Well, I don't know, like, okay, so a motorcycle accident, I don't even know how much the vest would protect you. I mean, it depends on the speed, it depends on many factors. If it was like the handbrake, sorry, the brake of the motorcycle, maybe, but like the vest, meh. Although, yeah, I mean, sure, you know, like anyone can hack your vest, but it's kind of like hacking the seatbelt of a car. I don't know how much that would influence. Don't get me wrong, like it's still a fucked up thing to do. I mean, the very fact that the notion exists is scary, but I don't think like it's as often as people would like it to think. By the way, I have found a picture that explains the environmentalist movement. I mean, I don't know if there's a picture that does it better than this. So you got like the paper straw, you know, the paper straw the paper straw, yes, like the straw, which is made out of paper, where you can find them at McDonald's. I think in California, yeah, they actually made it illegal for McDonald's and other fast food restaurants to have plastic straws. But it's okay, you know, because they have paper straws. And I gotta say, that the fact that they wrap them in plastic is just mwah. I'm not even complaining about the face masks that we were forced to wear during the pandemic, and those have microplastics as well. Like, if you want to save the environment, like you ban plastics from being made into straws in one hand, but you promote other plastics on the other. Yeah, but like, no, seriously, like, this is the epiphany of the environmental movement. And the reality is, like, most companies don't give a shit. Most people don't give a shit. It's just like the people in power that care, and the companies that go along with it, they go for the profits. They don't go because they want to save Mother Gaia. So, you know, okay, fine. People want paper straws. They give them paper straws. And by the way, like, the paper straw, in my opinion, I don't know if it's just in my head, but it makes the juice taste worse. Like, you can... I don't know why that is, but it's not the same taste, right? Like, it doesn't taste as good as if it's made from plastic. Now, if you really want some really bad taste... So, they got, like, this biodegradable utensils. Let me see if I can find an example. Yeah, I think this is the one, right? So they banned in my well, it's not that they banned in my country. Like, there are places in my country where they have these atrocities. Like, this is an abomination, chat. So it's a biodegradable wooden teaspoons, single use, right? So first of all, it's very expensive. Like, when you go to these places, like, you notice an increase in price. It's because it's 3 Great British pounds, one of them, right? So like a plastic fork, I don't even know how much it was. It was less than $1 anyway. But this is like really expensive. So the problem is, like, you get to taste it. Like, the plastic one didn't taste that bad, but like these ones really affect the flavor of the food. It's absolutely horrible. And you know, I am willing to bet that in a couple of years they're going to go back and they're going to say, "Oh my God, there's no more forests anymore. We gotta protect Mother Gaia now. Let's switch back to plastic." They literally did that shit, by the way. Like, they literally did that shit. It used to be that plastic was encouraged in order to avoid cutting the trees. And now it's the other way around. Now the trees are encouraged in order to avoid polluting with plastic. Single use, why? It's because there are restaurants, like fast food joints, that don't want to wash stuff, so they want single use, but the European Union banned the plastic, so now they have to use these. That's why it's single use. By the way, I haven't watched the new Halo movie, but apparently, according to sources, spoiler alert, the Halo show is terrible. Paramount spent $10 million per episode for Cortana to watch Master Chief have sex with a Covenant spy. They literally cocked Cortana. They literally cocked Cortana. And by the way, like, you look at this, is this Halo? Like, does this scream Halo to you? This is why they took off the mask, so that he can cock Cortana, huh? Oh my God, it's just like, why though? Why? You haven't watched the Halo show? Maintain that state. Dude, I'm not watching it. Like, I am so hyper aware of this bullshit now that whenever I see the signs, whenever I see the signs of a show or a game that's going to go off the rails, I just don't even bother watching. I don't like being disappointed. Maybe like sometimes I will, like if it's something that I'm really excited, like let's say they would make Diablo 4, I would probably play Diablo 4 just to see what it's like. But they're like rare titles that I grew up with, and I'm just like curious to see how bad they might be. But other than that, no, I'm just like I would rather not get tainted. Just keep it away from me. How long until Western media stops being cocked? So, surprisingly, Netflix, this is my tomorrow video on my other channel. So there's 2 articles coming from Netflix. One of them is warning employees to stop spending their money too much. So, Netflix executive warned employees against hiring and excessive spending. So probably, like, we're going to see less diversity officers and other positions that are useless. But the other one, which is more interesting, it tells Netflix... Sorry, it tells woke workers to quit if they are offended. Like, this was the best, right? So, Netflix tells woke workers to quit. This wouldn't happen if the right isn't winning. Now, like, when I say the right is winning, it's kind of weird, right? Because, like, there's no organized boycott. There's no publication that's, like, or academia that's pushing for the right to do this. But what ends up happening is that people on the right silently are just dropping these programs. Like, they're just canceling their subscription. And it's not just because of, like, woke ideology. It's also due to the fact that there's a lot of competition now. So it's quite possible that people move away from Netflix. But, like, let's be honest, if Netflix had good shows, like, if Netflix had more of Karate Kid, and less of whatever the fuck it is that they made now with the pregnant woman that's transgender and shit, like, no one watches that, like, no one is hyped up about it. It's just, like, completely, like a far-left political thing that even the far left won't watch. So, if Netflix had more Dave Chappelle, if Netflix had more Squid Games, if they had more of that, like, people wouldn't cancel their subscription. But when they're being very progressive and active about it and loud about it, like, yeah, there's going to be a lot of people that will just cancel their subscription, They're not going to say anything, they're not going to protest. But apparently those people added up, and now Netflix lost a lot of money. So that they have to resort to tell woke workers to quit if they're offended. Which makes sense, right? Because Dave Chappelle brought them a lot of cash. Now it's even giving them bad image because he was assaulted on stage. By the way, Dave Chappelle, he suffered an assassination attempt. I'm not even joking. It sounds bizarre because the media doesn't talk about it. But police found out that the guy which tackled him on stage had a gun which carried a knife, right? It looked like a gun, but it was actually a knife. Why do you think he did that? Why do you think, like, he had a melee weapon and he went on stage? Like, what do you think he wanted to do? Just tackle Dave? No, like, he didn't just want to tackle him. Security came in and escorted the guy out, right? So, that does make Netflix look like shit. It's like, okay, so you're hiring people that literally want to assassinate comedians, right? And they're generating the environment and the culture where this is acceptable. Like, it's a comedian, for fuck's sakes, right? Like, he just makes jokes. What is wrong with you? Wasn't the guy trans? I don't know. I haven't followed. I don't even give a shit if he was trans or not. Like, the only reason he attacked Dave Chappelle is because of the Netflix stuff, right? Yes, a gun knife. I don't understand the logic of a gun knife. Like, I would understand the logic of a knife that is a gun, but, like, a gun knife doesn't make any sense. Like, because, like, a gun is a lot more dramatic than a knife, right? So you would conceal a gun by disguising it as a knife. But why would you conceal a knife by disguising it as a gun? Makes no sense. Unless it's a gun blade, but it wasn't a gun blade because it didn't have bullets. Yeah, the crowd did disarm him. Like, it's one of the most dumb things you can do, like assaulting a person on stage. Especially when, like, the people there paid to see the show. Like, you paid money to see a person. Like, attacking him on stage isn't very bright. Imagine if one person would attack me right now and you guys were, like, watching me in real life. Like, I would have 300 people watching me in real life and a person would attack me. Like, I'm pretty sure some of you guys would probably defend me. Like, it's the worst time to... I mean, obviously you should never get physical with someone, right? Goes without saying. Especially on YouTube. But, I like, the worst... Like, if you're going to do it, the worst place is when the person is on stage. It's not just the security, it's the crowd as well. The right wing is pressuring politicians to take action rather than just do lip service. I don't know. We'll see next elections, I guess. But that's not what I tried to say. Like, what I tried to say is that right wingers are just stopping subscriptions. They're just not buying games. They're just not consuming the stuff, and it's starting to have an effect. Like, all these companies that were too big to fail, they managed to survive for a couple of years. But now they're realizing that, okay, well, we need to do something. Like, we can't go on like this because we're going to run out of money. I mean, Netflix even started ideas of having ad revenue. That's just insane. Absolutely insane. Like, you pay a monthly subscription and you get ads as well. I mean, that to me doesn't make sense. Also, here's another story. Man, I got a lot of stories today. Mother goes viral with incredible tale of how she left her husbando of 14 years for a near stranger she was convinced was her soulmate after one evening chatting at the conference, only for the other man to reject her. Good. Good. Man, you know, why is it that I really dislike people who break the marriage vow? I mean, I just don't get it. Like, it's a social contract. No one forces you to sign, right? You want to get married. You say, until death does me apart. And then you leave. And you're smiling as if it's like, what, you know, like some great accomplishment. Right? Like, people who do that should be treated exactly like racists. You know, having no honor, having no dignity, having nothing. Whatever. So, this is a happy story, in my opinion. It's a really happy story. The husband doesn't deserve that shit. I don't even know who the man is, but he probably doesn't deserve it. Not to mention, like, who the fuck finds love at the age of 50? Like, your body stops producing the hormones at that age. You're supposed to start looking at your golden years. The new face of Forever Alone, yeah. I do show my feet, don't I? Okay, fine, I'll show my feet. Do I get a super chat if I show my feet? You know what? I'll show my feet for free. I will show my feet for free. Let me... There you go. It's actually worse because there's no legally binding contract. Yeah, like, from what I can see, the wedding contract, especially in the United States, is, like, less legally binding than any other contract. Because, like, the thing is, like, let's say I have, like, a simple contract with you. You pay me money, I dig you a ditch. Right? It's very simple, right? Basic contract. If I choose to not dig you a ditch, you can sue me for damages. Right? But with marriage, you make a contract that's actually quite complex. And it's until death does you apart. And if you decide to get a divorce, not because of, like, domestic violence or anything, but you're not just, like, bored. You're bored of the marriage, as they say. Like, I just don't want to deal with this shit anymore. So you break the contract unilaterally, you get half the shit of the other person. Like, how does that work? Like, you should pay damages to the other person, shouldn't you? Like, if you made a vow until death does me apart, and you're the one that backed out, like, any other contract would make you pay damages. You'd have to pay money to give that other person financial satisfaction for what you just did. And think about it, right? Like, there are emotional damages that you're doing to that person. You're also like, maybe that person was in the prime of its youth and had other options when they married you, but now they're a lot older and they're more busy, so they don't have time to go dating and whatnot. So I'm not talking about like domestic violence. I'm not talking about other issues. No, what I'm talking about is like, okay, well, I'm just bored of the relationship. I just wanna I just wanna move on. I found someone else. It's like, okay, good, you found someone else. Now pay damages. Men do pay money. Well, yeah, the thing is, like, most marriages, the woman marries up, right? So, like, because of supply and demand, there's a lot more men lining up for women than there's women lining up for men. So, obviously, the women get to choose, and they will choose the man they like, and one that's rich. At least richer than them, right? So, it's subjective. But because of that, when the divorce happens, because the man earns more than the woman, she gets to take half, so therefore she gets to take more money. What if she's dead inside from the marriage? Then she needs a psychologist. The person who backs out should have to give up the majority of their stuff. I don't even know what the solution for this is, to be honest. But it's like, is it until death does you apart or not? If it's not until death does you apart, then it should be like a civil contract. Like, maybe have it so that it's a difference between civil contract and marriage. Like, marriage should be something that cannot be broken. Like, even like, you would need some extreme, severe circumstances where you would break the marriage contract, right? And then you have, like, a civil union. And the civil union should be like it is now. Like the civil union should be the current marriage, and the actual marriage should be like a lot more strict. And it's up to you, you know, like, you get to decide what you want to sign, you get to decide what you want to do, but like, once you made the choice, it's permanent, and that's it. They are old laws that assure women can look after themselves. Yeah, like, that is true. So most of these laws are at a time where women didn't fulfill a powerful role in the workforce. So that's why you have these. But obviously now that women can earn, and sometimes they can out-earn men, like, most of these laws don't make sense. First marriage for house, second for car, third to fund the thought retirement. There was a huge uproar when a rich woman had to give half her stuff. Oh, yeah. There was a time where feminists were against alimony because women were starting to earn more than men, and men were getting alimony, and they didn't like it. What is a woman? Oh, my God, that is a good question, yes. It's a very dangerous question. Feudal times were better? No, they weren't. Like, I do not agree with that. I mean, from one perspective, they were, right? Like, they had more stable families and whatnot, but, like, no, I wouldn't think that feudal times were better. I mean, look, in Romania, the divorce rate is a lot lower than the US, and the reason for that is that a lot of people are religious, and the way religion works is that you literally think that God is watching, right? Like, you think there's a hidden camera on you at all times. And if the person is religious, they will say, all right, well, the marriage isn't working now, or I'm not happy with it, but I made a vow in front of God, and I don't want to spend an eternity in hell. So a lot of people, you know, they have struggles during marriage, but they work it out because they're religious. So religion is that, like, extra thing which prevents you from getting a divorce. We are richer now, but in some ways their lives were better. I don't think they were better. I don't know. Maybe. Probably. I mean, no, look, you can live the medieval lifestyle now if you want. Like, no one is stopping you from buying a farm somewhere away from everything. And, you know, just be self-sufficient. Like, no one is stopping you from doing that. Like, no, but people don't want to live with the Amish, right? Like, you can literally go and live with the Amish, but no one wants to do that. And even so, like, today, right, you can live the medieval lifestyle, but You would even have like a couple of bonuses. Like, for example, you can still get a car to the hospital if you need it. And even if you say, well, I don't have money, yeah, you do. You don't need to buy a house in the US. You can buy a house in Eastern Europe. I mean, let me show you something, okay? Looky here, bigot. Ah. These houses, they're probably like $30,000, $40,000. Right? They're probably even less than that. You can literally just go to Eastern Europe, buy one of these houses. You get land. You can raise some animal husbandry. You can trade with the neighbors for whatever you don't have, and you can live the medieval lifestyle. But like, who the fuck wants to do that, right? Why would you want to live here? I mean, this is less than 20,000. This is probably a $10,000 house. And with the rest of the money, you can buy some land. You can plow the field if you want. You don't even need an ox. I mean, you can buy some modern tools to plow the field. And there you go. You live the medieval lifestyle. No one wants to do that, though. I wonder why. You can do that in the US, too. I don't know if they have that cheap of a house. Like, if you can buy houses literally that dirt cheap. But yeah, I mean, the difference is, like, okay, so you're not going to have... Maybe you have electricity, although I don't think they do. A lot of these houses don't have electricity. You don't have toilets. Like, there's a PV out back, and you can shit in the PV. But again, it's a lifestyle that most people don't want to have. And other than that, you can have sheep. Like, many of these people have sheep. They have various animals that they take care of. They plow the field. Like, most of these people actually do have land, and they plow the field. They know how to plow it properly. And that's what they eat. I mean, they don't live the medieval lifestyle, but they're pretty close. They don't have internet. Like, they don't have electricity. They definitely don't have internet. I'm 100% sure they don't. Like, they're lucky if they got the electricity. I mean, look at this house, right? Does this look like it's connected to the internet to you? I don't even know if they have television. They might have radio if they have electricity, but that's it. Now, you can say, well, you can bring a power generator, but like that doesn't work 24/7, right? Like, you don't have the money to buy gas to fill it up all the time. Starlink would solve that, yeah, but like, Starlink doesn't give you electricity. I don't understand. Like, I don't think people get it. There's no electricity, okay? Like, it's not that people don't want to have it, but it's like, it's in the mountains, so the geography is difficult, and it doesn't justify based on the number of people that are there. Like, it's a poor investment. Like, you would have to carry hundreds of kilometers of cable up the mountain for 10, maybe 15 houses, right? So that's why they don't have electricity. With high inflation, you should not pay a fixed rate mortgage any faster than you have to. You should invest any surplus in assets. Yeah, but like, I do have a fixed paid mortgage for 5 years. And after that, I don't know. And I also, like, given how flimsy social media is, I don't know if I'm going to be making money on YouTube 5 years from now. So I just want to pay as fast as possible. No internet, yes. Yeah, I mean, it really depends. But, like, the problem is, like, they're secluded in the mountain. They probably don't have gas either, so you have to warm your house on firewood. When I say you live the medieval lifestyle, I wasn't fucking joking. Right? Like, okay, maybe you're not there, because, again, like, you can still dial 911. They probably have, like, some landlines or something. Like, not in their houses, but, like, at the postal office, there might be a landline. So you do have, like, the access to cars. You have access to modern tools to mow your field or whatever. But you don't have gas, you don't have electricity, you don't have internet, you don't have television. Newspapers probably don't even get that far. So yeah. I tried to do that, would have cost over 100,000 just to get power lines to my place 8 kilometers from town. Yeah, I mean, it's very expensive. It's not that like, oh my god, it's Romania, they don't have power. It's like, no, we do have power, but there are places in Romania where it's not profitable to put power over there, right? Like, there are other priorities, basically. And putting power up the mountain where there's landslides and you have avalanches during winter and you have rock slides. Yeah, no one wants to do that. And the people that live there, like they're fine without power, right? Because they've lived so many decades without it that they don't give a shit. Sounds like heaven. You can get heaven in the US as well. Like they're called the Amish. Look them up. I suggest modern homesteading to anyone who wants to look into a more self-sufficient, fulfilling life. You can even be like 15 minutes outside the city. Yeah, that's pretty much what I am. But like, it's not for everyone, right? Like taking someone that's used to the city and asking them to do manual labor, a lot of people will not appreciate that. Like a lot of people will not do it. Anyway, right. I think I should go to bed now. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you'll tune in again tomorrow. I still have some news that I haven't covered. I'll put a warning on my server. I'll try around the same time. And thank you for watching, and really thank you for the super chats. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.